Good morning, Calendar Club. Hello, astrology fans. It's actually the afternoon, which goes to show how much in my brain I am right now, but at least I know what day it is. It's Friday, January 3rd. And it's been a couple of weeks. I apologize for missing the forecast on the 23rd. Some of you know my mother passed away on the 21st, and the week leading up to that, of course, was had a lot going on, and the 2 weeks that followed, also a lot going on. There was Christmas, which was a kind of a sad Christmas for my sister and myself, but we gathered with some friends and tried to make merry as best we could. And it kind of is nice after going through something gut-wrenching to just let loose and forget about it for a little while. And that's what we did. I'm here now to just show up for you and do a little unprepared, unscripted forecasting of the new moon influence that we're under, and then the next couple of weeks coming up, so that you guys can all be good and prepared for what astrology brings. That doesn't really bring it. What astrology is showing. Let's say that. That's better. Let's go back to the new moon of December 30th. Capricorn New Moon. One of my friends texted me and said, I feel like this new moon is very significant. And I think so too, because Saturn is the ruler of this new moon, and Saturn is still involved in this interesting T-square configuration with Jupiter and Mercury. This is all happening in mutable signs, and this means that things are up in the air a lot of the times. The situations are shifting and changing rapidly, and that's kind of how it's been for me as far as setting schedules and trying to get things set and squared away. The new moon squares the moon's nodes, which makes it kind of eclipsy, especially for people with cardinal signs in their chart: Aries, Libra, Cancer, Capricorn. The two planets that are squaring Saturn are Jupiter and Mercury. Now, Jupiter and Mercury are really interesting here because they're in mutual reception. Jupiter's in Mercury's sign, Mercury's in Jupiter's sign. And this is a condition that strengthens both planets. Even though they're not that happy in the signs that they occupy, they have a special connection to one another, which can make your estimations more grandiose. It means you can promise more than you can deliver. You might overprice things, you might underprice things. There is a lot of excessiveness in the air, in the environment. There's a lot of changes. There's a lot of moving around, moving to and fro that comes from being in this energy. Something that has kind of gone under the radar around this time, but I think it's pretty significant, is Pluto sextile the moon's north node. I'm seeing this as being an opportunity to bring some karmic situation to a fresh new place. Sextiles are always opportunities. Pluto and the north node are very karmic. So in essence, this lunar cycle will be about taking care of business and getting the details together, even when they're constantly changing. Even when they're constantly changing and shifting and just even navigating the picture right now can be really confusing, because although the moon is in Capricorn, which is really structured, it's a very structured sign. Generally, Capricorn gets its act together. But when Capricorn's ruler, Saturn, is in Pisces, it's a whole different game, because Pisces is so emotional. So it's almost like, but the work you're doing right now, the most important work that you're doing right now is on the inner planes, on the inner world, your emotional realm. And that's where we all need to get our act together. Saturn is all about getting your act together. That's where we all need to get our act together, in the inner realms, the spiritual. And that's what we're called upon to do. Almost to align our ideas and our beliefs with the reality of the emotional milieu that you are in. You can think people are wrong for feeling the way that they do. You can make all the justifications about why they shouldn't feel the way that they do, but the fact remains that people feel the way that they feel. And if you can recognize that and recognize and validate that, that can get you a long way towards bridging the gap between ideas and understanding, between facts and beliefs. Because a lot of that can get in the way right now. Like, the cogitation is excessive with Mercury opposite Jupiter being part of this new moon picture. Okay, so that was we're a little ways into this lunar cycle now. So we find ourselves here on January 3rd, on Friday, 1 in the afternoon. I'm going to probably get this video out quickly without doing a lot of razzle dazzle to it. So you will just have to put up with all of my stuff. This is the Green Means Go calendar. You can download it for free as soon as I get my head together and get it up there for you to download. It shouldn't be long. Just for the quarter, the January, February, March quarter. It's going up soon. I apologize. Just this morning, Mars opposite Pluto passed by. So these past few days have been kind of like draining your battery. If you felt like things have been intense and exhausting, well, yes, they have. But that passed this morning, so the energy is getting a bit more comfortable right now. And the prevailing energy of this weekend, Saturday the 4th and Sunday the 5th, is Pluto sextile the moon's north node. Karmic stuff, graduating, moving on. And we're having my mother's memorial service this weekend, so it's kind of nice to see her start her new journey in the spiritual realms on such good astrology. The moon will be in Pisces for most of the weekend, entering Aries at 2 o'clock on Sunday the 5th, and firing things up. And as soon as the moon goes void, of course, really on Sunday, we should start just being a little bit cautious, because Mercury is squaring Neptune. Okay, Mercury squares Neptune about 9 a.m. on Monday morning, Eastern time. And that means that everything you hear might not be true. When Mercury interfaces with Neptune, we think about spiritual things, but we can also be confused on the details. Mercury will be squaring Neptune from Sagittarius, the sign of beliefs. So what you believe can get in the way of your understanding of what is going on, what's good, what's important. The moon remains in Aries, January 6, January 7, until the evening time, 5 Eastern. Sorry, bad, old eyes. Old eyes. When the moon enters Taurus 8 Eastern. Mercury is going to move into Capricorn on Wednesday morning and immediately square the Aries nodes. Oh, what's that mean? Oh, messages. Messages. Could be having to rearrange a schedule of some kind. Mercury's just in Capricorn. Mercury's squaring them nodes. Messages that take you off of your path in some way. Could be somebody is taking themselves too seriously. It could be that you are thinking about making a compromise that ultimately will undermine something, your own power, your own strength, your own sense of self. Be careful about that. Be careful about that compromise. Compromise where you can, but hold your ground where you must. Mercury square the nodes. This is especially on Wednesday, but probably some on Tuesday as well, the 7th and the 8th of January. The skies turned green once again on January 9th. Possibly a little before that too. As Mars moves into trine Neptune. Now this is a really interesting combination, Mars and Neptune, because Mars is this big old go-getter. Mars is retrograde now though, so like our go-get-em is kind of a little lower than usual. Because retrogrades turn the energy inward into the past. Less outward expression of Mars, which would be your physical activity, the anger, and it's more turned inward. Does this mean that you might be feeling out of gas a lot of the times? Oh yeah, I know, I've felt that. Does this mean like nothing's ever gonna make anything's going to come together or be successful? Not that either, but it does mean that we need to slow down. We need to slow down and we need to focus on strengthening what we already have rather than moving forward into some big push into something new. As Mars moves into this trine, it's retrograding. Mars just moved into Cancer on Monday. I didn't talk about that yet, but Mars is moving back into Cancer. Mars just made a long trip into Cancer through November-ish, and then moved into Leo, then went retrograde. So Mars has been in Leo for a while, moving back into Cancer for another long while. Mars is going to be in Cancer for a long time. And this means that the Mars energy is getting a little more touchy, more emotional, more reactive. Mars in Leo is a bit more dramatic. It's the expression that we expect from Mars, the expression of strength. We're talking about inward strength with Mars retrograde, but strength nonetheless. But Mars is less comfortable in Cancer. That squishy sign of infancy, motherhood, all those things that Mars is about, right? Yeah, it's kind of like the emperor has to put on the empress's clothing for a little while and is not all that happy about it. Yeah, Mars in Cancer. But anyway, Mars is going to, when we get to January 9, 10, 11, 12, Mars is going to trine Neptune. So Mars moves back into the end of Cancer and trines Neptune, which is at the end of Pisces. Both of these are water signs, which means there's going to be an easy flow of emotional energy. Perhaps an easy flow of compassion that helps families come together. Yeah, with Mars retrograde, again, it's about strengthening something you already have. Strengthening something intangible, probably, because we're talking about water signs and we're talking about Neptune. Strengthening your spiritual practice. Strengthening your spiritual community in some way. So it's a great time to gather. It's a great time for gentle exercise. So keep that in mind. And this trine is going to shine all the way through the weekend of the 11th and 12th. So starting about Thursday and going through to about the 12th, you're going to have the shine of this wonderful energy blessing this weekend. When I think Mars, Neptune, I always think dance, because that's some way that you can take a spiritual practice and make it physical, like Mars likes. This full physical expression to the extent that you're able. Not all of us are able to move like we used to, but to what extent you're able to move and dance and make art of your movement, if that makes sense. Neptune. If you are a painter, if you are an artist, if you are a musician, this is a wonderful, lovely time to be out there doing your thing. Singing your song and dancing your dance. Fabulous. So let's talk about this full moon coming up at 23 degrees of Cancer. I'm going to pull it up. I'm going to put it on the screen for y'all at some point. Okay. Oh, that's so pretty. It's so pretty. Okay. The full moon, ladies and gents, is in an almost exact sextile to Uranus. Yay! Planet of freedom, planet of astrologers, planet of weirdos and wackos and eccentrics of all kinds. Who's got two thumbs and fits that description? Anyways. Let's see what else is coming in about this full moon. The fact that the full moon also conjoins retrograde Mars. Okay, the full moon sextiles Uranus, conjoins retrograde Mars, which has just trined Neptune. Okay, so there's going to be some of that Mars-Neptune energy that I was talking about, the weekend energy, carrying over into the full moon chart. Okay, just due to the proximity of this full moon to retrograde Mars. So it's going to really pick up some of that energy and continue it on through the end of the lunar cycle. We love that. Because the full moon is in Cancer, it rules itself. So usually I read the moon's ruler for more clues into what the lunation has to offer us and tell us. But in the case of the Cancer moon, it rules itself. So there's not much more said other than the aspects that the moon makes to the other planets. And I mean, there's probably more stuff. Every astrologer has their own bag of tricks. But that's the big thing. We're going to have opportunities to make changes, opportunities for freedom, opportunities for fortunate separations, and getting things done, we hope, a bit more quickly than we did with that new moon energy being so changeable. So like 1 minute it's this and the next minute it's this and so on. But with the Cancer moon, maybe we can finally just focus on what changes we really want to make. Because the Uranus is about changes. The new moon, or the full moon, also trines Neptune. It's there's a few degrees of separation by this time, but it's there. Yeah, Mars trine Neptune. Yeah. But I repeat myself. Okay. So let's look into the end of this week, and then we can look at some of the we can look at this red line, just take an overview look at this red line that is showing up in the third week of January. I guess that's the fourth week. That's the fourth week. Okay. Venus square Jupiter on the 14th. This does not directly connect to the full moon. So I'm not counting it as part of the full moon energies that kind of project all the way to the next new moon on the 29th. Okay. But it is there on the 13th and 14th, and that is Venus square Jupiter. Now, Venus can be a lot. Venus is a lot of things, okay? Just like all the planets. But Venus has to do with values and valuation and money, okay? So our estimations of the value of things might be off. It is your estimation of what you might be able to get for something might be kind of high. Venus can inflate the price. If you're shopping at this time, then the prices might tend to go higher. Venus square Jupiter. This is on Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday to me is really interesting. The sun is going to oppose Mars. Okay, so there's an active vibe to it that could be it could precipitate conflict. It could be repressed conflict. You're just feeling that vibe from somebody, but they're not saying anything, and you're not sure what's going on. That's kind of that vibe. Okay, that vibe of the sun opposing Mars. Sun will be in Capricorn, Mars will be in Cancer. But what's interesting about the sun opposite Mars to me as well is that this is the middle of Mars retrograde. It's the middle. We've reached the center of Mars retrograde. Okay, it's a long one. Mars retrograde started in early December, and here we are at January 15th, and we're only at the middle of it. So December 6th to January 15th. We're now at the middle of Mars retrograde, and this means that the energy of Mars is about to shift forward. It is like the momentum is starting to shift in the forward direction, even though Mars is still pulling back. It's pulling back almost like a slingshot, because when Mars retrograde ends and Mars starts moving forward again, whoosh, it goes quick. It goes quick. All right. So January 15th is the beginning of the return of the Mars energy. It's the middle of Mars retrograde, and this means that, okay, Mars, that backward momentum is starting to slow. That means the forward is starting to return. I know. It gives you something to look forward to, and that's always good. But as far as the day is concerned, do be careful, because the sun is going to pick up and express some of that Mars energy, and oppositions can be conflicts. So just be careful. Pick your battles wisely. Compromise where you can, and stand up for yourself where you must. Or delay and wait for better energy to come around, because there is. It will. There is. It will. On Thursday, the energy shifts, and the sun is going to pick up more of the energy of the Neptune side of the Mars-Neptune trine that is now fading. The sun opposed Mars now is going to sextile Neptune. If you want to learn all about this cosmic geometry, I encourage you to look into my aspects course on my site, mollysastrology.thinkific.com. So Thursday is going to pick up that sun sextile Neptune energy. This creates a spiritual kind of vibe. It is a kind of copacetic, easy, peaceful kind of vibe. It's really good for expressing yourself artistically. It's good for being inspired, doing divination, reading cards, whatever it is that you like to do, looking at your crystal ball, whatever you got. And it's wonderful for artists as well. Yeah, artists, visual artists, and whatever kind of artists. It's a good time to receive downloads from spirit. The veil is a little bit thinner when the sun sextiles Neptune, but not in an overwhelming way, in a way that creates opportunities, in a way that's harmonious. We love that. The weekend, Saturday and Sunday, we've got Venus, Saturn, and Mercury all aligning one with the other. Yes. Venus and Saturn conjoin on Saturday evening, the 18th. Okay? Venus is love and money and relationships and harmony, compromise. Saturn reduces, restricts, makes everything more serious. All right? So relationships turn serious. Maybe it's time to have a serious talk because Mercury is going to join that mix too, and not in a bad way this weekend. Venus conjunct Saturn, they're occupying the same space in the sky, all right? Yeah, both in Pisces. Venus conjunct Saturn, both in Pisces. And then Mercury has moved into Capricorn by now, and Mercury will connect to the two of them from Capricorn. Pisces and Capricorn, they're very different, but they get along just fine because Capricorn is earth and Pisces is water. They like each other, all right? They don't always get each other. They're different, but they like each other. So here's Mercury over in Capricorn saying, okay, let's do some serious stuff. And here's Venus, there's Venus over here with the ruler of Capricorn, Saturn, going, yeah, I love doing serious stuff right now. So this is a weekend to get serious, doing something you enjoy, hopefully, or having that serious conversation about feelings or making some decisions about how you're going to promote, market, and sell something. Get serious. Think long term. And maybe check in with your business plan too, yeah? Okay, so that brought us through the weekend of the 18th and 19th, and a Cosmic Calendar Club will meet again on the 20th, and we will talk about whatever it is that we're going to talk about. I have a feeling I'm going to rethink this whole thing with the Cosmic Calendar Club and maybe get myself out to you guys in this whole different way, which I'm kind of excited about, to tell you the truth. But before I let you all go, let's take a closer look at what's going on around the 4th week of January through the last weekend in January, the 25th and the 26th, okay? What I've marked there in red is Saturn semi-square Pluto. Semi-square Pluto. This is not a major aspect of semi-square. It's a minor aspect. It's half a square mathematically, and also interpretively you can think of it as half a square too. It's about half the power to annoy, delay, and obstruct as a square has. And basically it works, the semi-squares and the sesqui-squares work through the medium of annoyance, annoying kind of things. Sometimes this is something going on that doesn't involve you. There's not a whole lot you can do about it. And it either delays or derails your plan. You know, plan's done. We got to have a new plan. This could be difficulty adjusting to some new circumstance. Pluto just moved into Aquarius not too long ago. Pluto moved into Aquarius to stay. Pluto's still really in early Aquarius. And so we're still just getting familiar with the issues of what that all means for us individually. So there can be a delay, there can be some red tape, there can be just some kind of challenge that comes along with you getting used to the energy completely shifting in whatever house Pluto is transiting in your chart. That's wherever Aquarius begins. For me, that's my 4th house. My 4th house cusp, even in an unequal house, is 0 Aquarius. And things have definitely shifted and changed there. Oh, and so I'm not sure what I'm even going to do with this video yet. Maybe I'll put it on YouTube, but whoever's watching me now, I really want to thank you for watching my stuff, being interested in what I have to say. I really hope you enjoyed this forecast. And if you want to support my work, I really encourage you to, for now, join the Cosmic Calendar Club. I'm also considering doing something on Patreon. I just don't totally know yet. But we'll see. We'll get there. I trust that, I'm being guided to do the things that I need to do to move into this new phase in my own life. There's so much going on right now. And I'm sure there's a lot going on for you too. So I wish you all the best, and thank you for your patience with me. I super appreciate it, and looking forward to great things in 2025. Bye.